Okay, so we shall continue. Each of the item they've selected cost. So what happens is that information of how much the guests have spent in the restaurant is supposed to be kept, or is supposed to be fed into the system. Okay, and now that is what we are calling the guest bill. Guest bill. Okay, yeah, so this information needs to be updated all the time. If the guest visits different sections, the information of services that have been rendered to them should be fed into the system. Why is it supposed to be fed? Because you cannot afford to give this information all off at once. This information has to be fed as the guest enjoys the services. Yeah, so a guest bill is very, very important. So how do we feed in information about the guest bill? We've got a manual system, which we say this is normally used in a hotel or in a small hotel, whereby a waiter takes a sale, yeah, and it rushes to the billing counter for entry into the guest folio. So this is now where a waiter comes to you, serves you, and the small receipt they normally write, a sales order, they take it to the they take it to the counter, yeah, for that information to be fed. Then we also have got the mechanical method. Mechanical method is where we say this is used for large medium sized hotel. Okay, so information is normally given through, now when the guest comes, they are given a voucher. So this voucher they will sign to confirm that this is what I have spent, and they will sign against it. Then you've got the fully automatic system. This is now whereby from whatever they receive the service, yeah, that information is fed, and whatever other services that they will be given will be automatically be fed into the system. Okay, yeah, so we say sometimes we have got, we've got different documents that are used in the guest accounting. We've got a voucher. Now a voucher is a small paper that is written the amount or the services that have been given to the guest, and the guest will sign against it. Okay, then we've got a folio, which we say is a document that has been initiated at the time of arrival of the guest, and it's normally all guest transactions are recorded. Yeah, then of course we've got the posting, we've got the account aging report. This is a document which is a very important thing. It's a document that tells the supervising receivable account from the guests which have aged over a specific. Now sometimes guests come and maybe they don't pay on time, so this aging report gives a summary of all accounts that are overdue, okay, and when they need to be paid. So it is important for us to ensure that when guests come to our hotel, the bills that have been given to them are accurate. Okay, because you remember we said the last impression is a lasting impression. So we don't want our guests to leave our hotel with this notion that they were given the wrong bill, that they were overcharged, yeah, etc. However, the same guests, the people who are handling these guests, especially at the guest accounting, have to ensure that also if they provide accurate information to the guests, they should also ensure that these guests are also able to pay. We've heard about circumstances where guests come to our hotel and they enjoy the services that they were supposed to get, but they're not able to pay. Yeah, that's now why we have a department or a unit called the credit control. So this department ensures that the organization does not lose out. Yeah, whatever is owned or whatever is owed to the organization is paid by the guests. Okay, yeah, so they have got different objectives, which you say it is to avoid loss, yeah, due to walkout. Walkout means guests who come into our organization or in our hotel and they don't pay for the services. Okay, then they are also the other objective of this the credit control is to ensure that we don't have late settlement of guest account. So we ensure that when the guest is leaving, they're also able to pay at that time. Okay, so sometimes we have scenarios whereby guests don't pay. So which are these circumstances under which sometimes guests might find themselves not paying? Sometimes when guests come into our hotel, they might not be given correct information. Yeah, maybe they were not explained to that this particular kind of a credit card is not used. Yeah, or this kind of method of payment is not acceptable. So they will stay there until when they're about to leave, they raise out that issue that they were never informed. Okay, sometimes also why guests leave without paying is because of the communication gap between credit department and the cashier. So for example, failure of the credit department in timely communication to the cashier that the bill amount of guest has exceeded the limit. Remember, when the guest is staying with us and they have a limit, it is important for them to be told that your limit is approaching, so that they can either make arrangements to ensure that they have sufficient funds. Then of course we've got the aspect of negligence and carelessness by the members of staff. Of course, not staff per se, but there are those people or those guests who are just reckless. They walk into a hotel, they use services, but they don't pay. So we would call them con men or women. So it is important to ensure that this information is given to the sufficient information is given to the guest accounting section for them to ensure that guests pay when demanded upon. So it's also important for this credit control to ensure that whatever amount of money has been collected has also been deposited into the account. So the guest accounting is very, very important in an organization. Okay, so I hope up to that point I'm very clear. So remember, another main role of the front office is security. Sometimes you go into a hotel, and while you're there, you need to feel some sense of security. You need to feel safe. You need to feel, when I stay in this hotel, in case there's a fire outbreak, this is what needs to be done. In case I stay in this hotel and there's a problem to do with a terror attack, this is what needs to be done. So the security of guests is very, very important. Because when guests are comfortable or when guests are secured, they are able to enjoy they will enjoy the services that they shall be getting from us. So security is very important, and therefore the front office also has been tasked with the responsibility of ensuring that the guests are safe. So we've got different security systems that are put. For example, when you go to a hotel, you have maybe from the guard at the gate, who will check your car to ensure that whatever you're carrying is safe. So we've got different safety and security measures that are taken by an organization to ensure that guests are secured. So one of it is to ensure that they should be provided with a card. In case a guest is staying with us, they should be given a tag that identifies them, so that they don't have to be checked all the time. Then we also need to ensure that we've got the key control system. So the key control system is whereby we feel that whatever, when guests are staying with us, their rooms are also secured. So nobody can walk into a guest room and get their valuables. Then of course we've got the safety lockers for valuables. So in case a guest has got valuables and they will need to put them somewhere secure, they're given that kind of facility. We'll also ensure that we've got fire escape route. Now the fire escape route is a emergency exit, so that in case there's a fire outbreak, guests are advised on where they should be able to go. Okay, then of course we've got the frequent patrols by the security guards in the hotel to ensure that nobody sneaks into the hotel or into the business. So we've got different types of security. We've got the physical aspect, and we've got the security aspect and the security of system. Now, when we talk about physical aspect, this can be divided into two categories. One, we say it's the internal and the external. And the internal security, we say this is a security against theft. Yeah. We also talk about fire security, proper lighting, and external refers to proper lighting of the boundary walls outside the building, proper fencing, avoid poisonous and thorny bushes, fixing of closed TV circuits, cameras, etc. So the security aspect of person is now where we have to ensure that the guests and the staff are both safe. Okay, so we have a program we have some program that ensures that guests follow while they are, or for the staff to follow while they are working. So it's just a guideline of what is it that the staff need to do, what is it that the guests need to do to ensure that they are safe. So we say, for example, the guests have to ensure that they've got identification. So they've got a tag that says, I am Julian Borrow and I work at the front office desk, or I am so and so and this is my, so they have a way of being identified. They also need to be trained properly on how to detect unusual things. They also need to be security conscious. They need to be alert, in the event that something was to happen. So, however, the guests also have to make sure, because also there's some guests who would walk away with the hotel property. Somebody would carry a remote control, some other people would carry towers. So it's important to ensure that guests do not leave with the hotel's property. Okay, so rooms should not be open for guests coming and staying, and they have their own keys. So guests should also have their own keys, and they should not allow third parties to come to their hotel without their consent. Okay, then of course we've got personal belongings of guests may be stolen. So guests may be subjected to criminal assault. So it is important to ensure that this is followed so that the safety of the guest is guaranteed. So how do we ensure, or how do we handle security threats? For example, protecting guests from fire. In case there's a fire outbreak, what is it that the guest, or what is it that the organization needs to do? So one of the things is that they need to have the fire detection system in case there's a smoke. There's an alarm that goes on. There's a escape procedure. There's a firefighting equipment in case there is fire outbreak. In case there's a terror attack, what needs to happen? Threats to privacy, threats to guest property and misbehaving, protecting staff, etc. So when we talk about security, we are looking at security in a two-way. Security for the guests and also security for the staff, because you see, once the staff are not secured, even the guests will not feel comfortable. Okay, so basically this is what we've been able to capture this semester. We also spoke about the front office communication, where we said there are certain channels that we'll need to put in place, especially when we are communicating with guests. Use of courteous language. We also mentioned the different barriers that we would get in communication, or when you're in communication with our guests. So the front office communication also is very important, and it is important even for the people who are managing the guests to ensure that they adhere fully to the issues, so that we will not have a problem of miscommunication. Then I remember we also spoke about the SOAPs, which you say they are standard operating procedures. For example, when a guest walks into our hotel, Yeah, what are some of the procedures? What is some of the things that we need to ensure? For example, when they're being registered, when they are making a reservation, when they are, when they want to be called very early in the morning, we call those SOAPs, or the standard operating procedures, yeah, that are acceptable in a hotel. So basically, the front office revolves around issues or instances to do with the guests. So we have to make sure that the guests are very happy. We have to make sure that the same guests leave our hotel also very satisfied and having enjoyed our services. Because the same guests, when they go out there, they'll also talk good of us. Okay, so otherwise, I want to take this opportunity to thank you most sincerely for having gotten time, yeah, to join me during this semester as we embarked on this journey of trying to get to know what the front office department is, what are some of the duties of the different personnel, what are some of the skills that are required of this personnel, the different registration systems that are used, the reservation systems that are used. How do we ensure that the bills that are given to the guests are accurate? Yeah, how do we ensure that we also don't lose out on revenue, especially when guests don't pay? Okay, then also, while guests are staying with us, how do we also ensure that they are secured? Then we mentioned about those standard procedures that are supposed to be followed when you're handling guests, when a guest walks in, when a guest needs this particular issue to be resolved. So I'm very grateful. I have really enjoyed my time with you, and I'm hoping and looking forward that in case you have any issue, in case you need any clarification, kindly feel free to contact me and I shall be able to assist you further. Otherwise, I have set the end term, and the end term has revolved around what we were able to study in this semester, and also some of the most common Kenya National Examination questions that you would expect. Okay, so I have set a standard paper of what you would expect in NEC. Otherwise, I wish you guys a very nice time. I wish you the very best in your exam, and I hope to see you again soon. God bless you. Bye for now.